Cordial greetings, dear teacher. I'm Wendy. Again, I want to share a reflection on the National 10-Year Education Plan 2016 to 2026, a document that the Ministry of National Education defines as state policies on education that guides the actions of all actors in the education system for a decade. Reading carefully page 39 to 66, where the 10 strategic challenges are present, I felt that many of them are urgent and necessary. However, I decided to focus on two that I consider essential of the reality we live. Challenge 3, we can see, um, which invite us to make education everyone's business, recognizing is a common good and shared responsibility. In challenge 3 and 6, which calls us to promote the relevant pedagogical and widespread use of new and diverse technologies to support teaching and learning. I choose these two because it's not a secret to anyone that without participation of the whole society and without the strategic use of technology, it is impossible to achieve inclusive and quality education. Moreover, they are directly related to the fundamental right to education that the political constitution. The third challenge proposed something that seems simple, but is actually transformative. That education should be a common good. It means that it should not be seen as something exclusive to school or the teacher, but a project shared by the family, the state, private sector, the media, and civil society. Priority in the public agenda, and some as a collective responsibility which transcends government periods and change the whole city. This seems very powerful to me because many times education in Colombia becomes a political campaign issue and lost continuity in government's change. The law 115 of 1994 already established in its Article 5 that education should train Colombians for active participation in the social, cultural, political, and economic life of the country, but is society and does not feel part of this process. That objective is not fulfilled. Here, I believe that the challenge is more cultural than technical. Families need to actively involve. Just men need to support education based on social responsibility, of course. Media need to promote educational content, and the students themselves need to have a voice and the decision that affect them. However, the risk is that this participation will remain good intentions if there are no concrete space where communities can have an impact. My proposal is simply, very simply, create participation communities in each education, open not only parent to parents, but also to students, neighbors, and community leaders. The idea is that they meet at least once a month to talk about real problems, desertion, consequences, and lack of resource, and look for a solution together. For example, they could organize reading days, campaigns to prevent absence, or collections to improve school space. This turns education into a community project, easy to implement, and without the need for a large research. Okay, the sixth challenge we can see here, pedagogical use of technologies occur, and it's very relevant at this historical moment since the pandemic has shown how indispensable technology is to guarantee educational continuity. The plan says that technologies should be used to support teaching, knowledge constructions, learning, research, and innovation of digital content, access to connectivity and generation of information systems to measure quality and governance. And here I must acknowledge Colombia has made progress. Programs as such computers for education have outside many schools, but the digital divide is still evident. There are institutions that do not internet or have it with low quality, and many teachers have not received sufficient support to integrate the technology in a pedagogical manner. It's mentioned by UNESCO 2021. Let's point out that the digital transformation of education can be reduced to to the provision of equipment. It requires capacity building and pedagogical innovation. My idea is to implement a small digital classroom in every school, even if it is rural. They do not have to be expensive rooms. With it would be enough. With a TV, a computer, with internet connection, it can be satellite or mobile data. And some previously downloaded educational content. This would allow teachers to show videos, access platforms, and students have to um, contact with the digital world. That is very important in this generation. The important things is is that to the use of this digital classroom is planned as a part of the class, so that technology is not a luxury. It's not a luxury, but a real learning tool. To conclude, I would visit, like to visit in, I would like to insist on something that the 10-year plan itself reminds of. Educational is the path to achieve equity and the construction of a peaceful society. The two challenges I choose complement each other. The participation of all and the pedagogical use the technology if communities take ownership of education and at the same time we manage to integrate ICT and in a creative way. We can close gaps, motivate students, and form recall and current series. Organization We will end teamwork. If each school manages to link to community and have a basic technology space, we will already be taking a big step towards a more inclusive and quality education. Thank you very much, teacher, for watching this video. See you next time. Bye bye.